Here are my audience members. What does art mean to you? Is art a Van Gogh painting at a museum? Is it a toddler's finger painting that they did on the weekend? Or is it the stained glass window that you saw at church this Sunday? Well, the answer is all of that's art. Anything that was made with someone's hands, with their form of creativity involved, with their own signature attached to it, that's art. So today we're going to be discussing a controversial form of art, and this form of art is called graffiti. And the Oxford Dictionary defines graffiti as writings, drawings, scribbled, scratched, or sprayed illicitly on a wall or other surface in a public place. With our time here today, I hope that I can explain to you about the countercultures of skateboarders and hip hop artists and how that correlates with graffiti, and how we need to start thinking about graffiti as a real art form and not just vandalism. So in the 1960s, skate parks were all the rage. Surfers had traded in their fins for wheels, and they needed a new place to accommodate skateboarding. So that's how the skate parks emerged. Now with that, a lot of the skateboarders didn't feel accepted by society. They felt like a fringe group and that they were outcasted. And so these skate parks not only welcomed skaters, but anyone that was feeling that way. So naturally, graffiti artists would come and they were welcome to tag or spray paint any surface that they felt like they wanted to. And according to an online article posted by Vans Off the Wall, which Vans are the officially sponsored skateboarding shoes, they said, many skate parks now double as shrines to the self-expression of graffiti, and nobody's ever going to complain that it's vandalism. Now, what that quote is just stating is just reiterating my point that skaters were bringing in everyone, and all forms of self-expression were valid to these skaters, and that's why we do have the shrines of the graffiti art. So, according to an article posted to CSDT, graffiti is considered one of the 4 elements of hip-hop, along with MCing, which is rapping, DJing, and b-boying, which is breakdancing. These are all personal forms of expression within hip-hop, and graffiti in the hip-hop world is seen as a form of resistance and saying, hey, the traditional art institutes don't want to accept me. Well, you're not going to ignore my art because I'm going to put it on the side of a building. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that philosophy. I enjoy the rebellious nature of that has gone along in the hip hop community. And while DJing and rapping has been widely accepted by the mainstream media and society, graffiti is not. Graffiti is still looked at as a form of vandalism and is perceived as a crime. And graffiti was giving those that had true artistic talent a chance to show their work when like I stated earlier, when typical art institutes would not take them. That was their opportunity to showcase their talents, and they were putting them in places that were culturally significant for them. They were given a creative outlet whenever society said that they weren't worthy of one. And that is just something that I will always appreciate about the hip hop community and find interesting with their correlations with graffiti artists. So it is not a question of art. It could be the Mona Lisa, but if it's on the side of your house, your rights are violated. Now, Sue Haneker said this, and she is Seattle's anti-graffiti coordinator. And while I agree with her, I think that that's an extreme circumstance and an extreme example that she used, because nobody believes that private property should be a place for artists to showcase their work. No one is saying that. What people are saying, though, is that they should be able to graffiti public buildings, especially whenever cities are hiring outside artists to come in and graffiti sides of buildings, and they are being paid for it, and they're not even from the community, whenever they could hire a local graffiti artist who would likely do it for free just to have the opportunity to showcase their work and be able to put a bright spot in their community. And to wrap things up, we went over skateboarding and hip hop and how those two cultures correlate with graffiti. And we also talked about how they should be able to do it on public buildings. Again, I want to reiterate that no one is saying that they should be able to do this on private property, but they should be able to on public buildings. I encourage everyone listening to challenge what their mind perceives as art and to be aware of the cultural significance of graffiti to the hip hop and skater community. And maybe the next time you're in a circle of people and they are talking about how much they hate graffiti, maybe you'll remember our little talk and you can give them some new facts and new insight. And by doing that, we can see social change. Thank you so much for your time today. Have a wonderful evening.